Welcome to Giant Ability TV.
The controversy over the endorsement of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, by the elder statesman and former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, is far from being over. The reason, understandably, is that knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. Giving credence to the position of the former president was the voice of a legal luminary, Chief Afe Babalola, senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN. He stated that it was in good faith that Chief Obasanjo endorsed Mr. Peter Obi and his running mate Dati Baba Ahmed. However, he lamented that Chief Obasanjo did not factor in what he considered as a major threat to the country's nascent democracy, which is the use of money as endorsement by the politicians. He therefore concluded, and even with a bet, that the winner of the 2023 presidential election will not be the candidate that possesses the requisite qualification expected by Nigerians, which include competence, capacity and character, but the one with a deep pocket.
It is not who can make a difference that will win this election. It is, I will repeat, it is not the person who had all that it takes, age, health, education, and patriotism, that will win the election. The winner of this election, and I can bet it, is going to be the person who has made money in this country. That's money who will win. It's going to be it is the person who has the money that will win. Go and put it down.
Recall also that this elder statesman had earlier suggested that the electioneering process be jettisoned for an interim government. His call then was premised on the belief that the 1999 constitution that the country currently operates does not represent the will of the people, fraudulent and therefore lacks the necessary ingredients on which a credible election can be held. His positions have attracted reactions from the Nigerian public. The truth that remains incontrovertible is that he did not express a contrary opinion with regard to the endorsement of Mr. Peter Obi by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. Nigerians are apprehensive and anxious to get the election out of the way with little or no consideration for the fundamental problems that are capable of making the conduct and its outcomes a nightmare. It is very important that we all heed the advice of elders by cultivating the habit of attention and try to gain opportunities to hear wise men and women talk. Indifference and inattention are the two most dangerous monsters that you would ever meet. Interest and attention would ensure you an education. Robert Millikan. Nigeria's problem from the onset has been that of illiteracy, and the politicians have played on that to confuse the people where they failed to convince them. Rather than inform the people, they deformed them, and this was made possible because of the ignorance that has been prevalent, especially among the northerners, where you have the highest level of illiteracy. Why the northern leaders, who have governed the country more than all of the other regions that make up the country, Nigeria, did not consider it expedient to change the narrative, can be adduced to the opportunity it has provided them to make their people vulnerable and gullible, especially in matters of electing leaders into positions of power. This problem is not limited to the northerners alone. Even among the southerners, the politicians and corrupt elects rely on the inaccessibility of the people to credible information to confuse them and keep them in abject poverty. This accounts for why, since the time of independence in 1960, the people, especially those in the north, were not equipped to decide wisely about the candidates or policies. They were too amenable to personal charms and declamatory eloquence. With them, anything goes. This has been one of the major reasons why all the elections conducted so far has failed to produce outcomes that could move the country forward with the dividends of democracy accruing to the people. Ignorance is a disease. Furthermore, here are other ironies of life. Kings and rulers make a grave mistake when they give great authority to foolish people and low positions to people of proven worth. I have even seen servants riding on horseback and princes and princesses walking as servants. Here is another thought on wisdom and folly. There was a small city with only a few people, and a great king came and besieged it. A poor wise man knew how to save the town, and so it was rescued. But afterwards, no one thought to thank him. So even though wisdom is better than strength, those who are wise will be despised if they are poor, and what they say will not be appreciated for long. It is better to hear the quiet voice of a wise person than the shout of a foolish king. It is better to have wisdom than weapons of war, but one sinner can destroy much that is good. The choice of who becomes the next president of Nigeria is of great importance and a matter that should be taken seriously if Nigeria is headed anywhere and its unity is to be preserved. It is not unimaginable how much destruction the politicians have done and the evil brought upon Nigeria, to the extent that a grave has already been dug for the country to be buried in. The good news, however, is that the table can be turned against them in such a way that the grave dug by them will become their destination. All along, elections have been rigged through different ways, but hopefully, this time, the new electoral law will go a long way in preventing rigging, as it is impossible for ballot boxes to be snatched and the incident forms used to manipulate the results. This is the fresh air of hope in the atmosphere. Nonetheless, the use of money as inducement is an issue, and insecurity is also a great concern. The security situation in the country is far from being promising, as Nigerians still live in fear. President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to leave Nigeria safer than he met it, but reality is showing the contrary. People are still being kidnapped, INEC offices are being burnt, and litigation is being sponsored against the INEC chairman with a view of removing him from office. The BIVAS machine is in the way of corrupt politicians. Most of them were the beneficiaries of election malpractices. With these actions going on with no ending in view, it is difficult, if not impossible, to discountenance the expressed concern of Chief Afe Babalola. To do justice to his expressed fears, and in relation to the endorsement of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, stating the requisite qualifications of a leader that is capable of taking Nigeria to the dreamland of promise, is imperative. Nigeria needs a leader that is perceptive, penetrating, relenting, and with a logical mind. In addition, he must have been an established reputation of polished manners, intellectual penetration, and moral deprivative. A man that is firm in heart and purpose and is able to keep his wishes from obscuring his future. He should also be able to anticipate difficulties, hazards, surprises, and plan to meet them. This list represents boxes to be checked by Nigerians in choosing the man whom the cap fits. View the whole world and with impartial eyes consider and examine all that rise. Weigh well their actions and their treacherous ends, how greatness grows and by what steps ascends, what murders, treasons, forgeries, deceits, how many fall to make one monster great. On a final note, Because the sentence against an evil deed is not executed speedily, the heart of the sons of the children of men is fully set to do evil. Though a sinner does evil 100 times and prolongs his life, yet I know that it will be well with those who fear God, but it will not be well with the wicked.
Unless you are part of the old system, which has brought us to where we are now, there's no way a young man like Peter Obi, an oriented man like Peter Obi, a man with ideas like Peter Obi, and when we face those who have brought us to where we are today.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to all our social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.